It is October 1907. The American economy is dying. Banks are collapsing. The stock market has lost half its value. Crowds are forming outside trust companies across New York, demanding their money. The President of the United States, Theodore Roosevelt, a man who once charged a hill under gunfire, is powerless. There is no central bank, no Federal Reserve, no institution designed to stop this. So you do it yourself. You summon the most powerful bankers and trust company presidents in America to your private library on East 36th Street. The room is lined with Renaissance paintings, Gutenberg Bibles, and manuscripts worth more than most banks. You sit in a red velvet chair. You do not raise your voice. You lay out the numbers. You tell each man exactly how much he will contribute to stop the bleeding. Some resist, so you lock the doors. No one leaves until the deal is signed. At 4:15 in the morning, the last holdout signs. You have personally orchestrated a private bailout of the American financial system. You are 70 years old. You are not the president. You are not the Treasury Secretary. You are a private citizen. And you have just saved the United States of America, because you are the only one who can. You are born in 1837 in Hartford, Connecticut. You are not poor. You are not hungry. You are not clawing your way up from nothing like Carnegie or Rockefeller. Your grandfather is a founder of the Aetna Fire Insurance Company. Your father, Junius Spencer Morgan, is a banker, first in Hartford, then in London, where he partners with George Peabody to run one of the most prestigious financial houses in Europe. You are educated in Boston, then Switzerland, then the University of Göttingen in Germany. You speak French and German fluently. You are bred for this, but breeding is not the same as building. Your father gives you access, not a fortune. You have to prove you can operate at his level, or above it. During the Civil War, you are 24. You pay $300 for a substitute soldier, perfectly legal, perfectly common among the wealthy. You do not fight, you finance. You fund a deal that buys 5,000 defective rifles from a government arsenal at $3.50 each, then sells them back to the Union Army at $22 apiece. The rifles blow off soldiers' thumbs. A congressional investigation follows. You walk away clean. The lesson arrives early. Wars are fought by soldiers and won by the men who finance them. You are not interested in building things. You are interested in owning the system that decides what gets built. In 1871, you formed Drexel, Morgan and Company, with Anthony Drexel in Philadelphia. By 1895, after Drexel's death, it becomes J.P. Morgan and Company. Your name, your firm, your century. Lesson 1. Control the money, control the game. The railroads are the internet of the 19th century. They move everything: goods, people, information, capital. Whoever controls the railroads controls America. And the railroads need one thing above all else: money. Building a transcontinental line costs tens of millions of dollars. No single investor can fund it. No bank in America is large enough. But your father's firm in London has access to European capital, the deep pools of British and French wealth looking for American returns. You become the gatekeeper. Railroad companies come to you for financing. You raise capital from European investors, underwrite their bonds, and place their stock. In exchange, you take a seat on their board, then 2 seats. Then you place your partners on every board you touch. By 1885, you sit on the boards of the New York Central, the Philadelphia and Reading, the Chesapeake and Ohio. You don't own these railroads. You don't need to. You control the one thing they cannot operate without: access to capital. When railroad presidents fight, slashing prices, duplicating routes, destroying each other's margins. You intervene. You summon rival executives to your yacht, the Corsair, and you broker peace. The industry calls them Corsair compacts. You call them common sense. No problem can be solved, you say, until it is reduced to some simple form. The simple form is this: you decide who gets funded. You decide who survives. You are not a railroad man. You are the man the railroad men answer to, and you are just getting started. Lesson 2. Morganization. Buy it broken. Own it fixed. The financial panic of 1893 devastates the American railroad industry. 153 railroads go bankrupt in a single year. Miles of track, thousands of locomotives, millions in infrastructure, all suddenly worth pennies on the dollar. Most bankers see catastrophe. You see inventory. You develop a system so effective that the financial world gives it your name: Morganization. The process is surgical. You buy the bonds of a failing railroad at a steep discount. You reorganize its debt. You slash redundant routes. You fire incompetent management and install your own people. You merge competitors into a single efficient system. Then you take a seat on the new board. You take your fee. And the railroad, now leaner, stronger, and under your control, begins generating returns. You Morganize the Southern Railway, the Erie Railroad, the Northern Pacific, the Philadelphia and Reading. One by one, the broken pieces of America's rail network pass through your hands and emerge consolidated, rationalized, controlled. By 1900, you directly or indirectly control nearly 2/3 of American railroad mileage. Not because you built a single mile of track, because you understood something fundamental. The men who build things and the men who own things are rarely the same people. Builders take the risk. Owners take the reward. Your competitors call it monopoly. You call it order. I owe the public nothing, you say. And you mean it. Lesson 3. When the government fails, become the government. In 1895, the United States Treasury is about to go bankrupt. The gold reserve, the foundation of the entire American monetary system, has fallen below the legal minimum. If it collapses, the dollar collapses. If the dollar collapses, the economy collapses. President Grover Cleveland is desperate. You walk into the White House and make the president an offer he cannot refuse. You will organize a private syndicate to buy $65 million in gold bonds. You will use your European connections to source the gold. You will personally guarantee that the gold stays in the Treasury and does not flow back overseas. In exchange, you will take a fee and the knowledge that the President of the United States needed you more than you needed him. Cleveland agrees. The Treasury is saved. The newspapers call you a patriot and a profiteer in the same headline. You don't care about the headlines. 12 years later, it happens again. Bigger. The panic of 1907. Trust companies are failing in sequence, like dominoes. The Knickerbocker Trust collapses. The Trust Company of America is hours from insolvency. There is a run on nearly every financial institution in New York. You are 70 years old. You have a cold. And you are the only man in America with the authority, the capital, and the credibility to stop it. You set up command in your library. You direct teams of accountants to audit failing institutions in real time. You decide which ones are worth saving and which ones you let die. You pledge your own money. You pressure other bankers to pledge theirs. When John D. Rockefeller, the only man in America richer than you, deposits $10 million, he does it on your word. You convince the Secretary of the Treasury to deposit $25 million in government funds into New York banks. You persuade the clergy to preach calm from their pulpits on Sunday. You orchestrate a coordinated response across banking, government, and the church. A private citizen running a national crisis like a general runs a war. When it is over, one fact is inescapable. A single private citizen had to do what the United States government could not. The country is saved, but the system is exposed. A man this powerful should not exist. Congress knows it, and they are coming for you. Lesson 4. Build trust as infrastructure. In an age before credit ratings, before regulatory agencies, before the SEC or the FDIC, there is only one guarantee that matters on Wall Street: your word, and your word is absolute. When you underwrite a bond offering, investors buy it because your name is on it, not because they've read the prospectus, not because they trust the railroad or the steel company, because they trust you. Your due diligence is their due diligence. Your judgment is their insurance policy. This is not soft power. This is the hardest power there is. Every deal you touch carries a premium, because the market knows that Morgan does not attach his name to anything he hasn't vetted. Your reputation is not a brand. It is the collateral underlying billions of dollars in transactions. During the Pujo Committee hearings in 1912, the congressional lawyer Samuel Untermyer tries to corner you. He asks whether commercial credit is based primarily on money or property. You answer, "No, sir. The first thing is character." Untermyer presses, "Before money or property? Before money or anything else? Money cannot buy it. A man I do not trust could not get money from me on all the bonds in Christendom." This is not performance. This is architecture. You have built a financial system where your personal judgment functions as a public institution, where your trust is the infrastructure that capital flows through. It makes you indispensable. It also makes you a target. Lesson 5. Own the future before it arrives. In 1878, a man named Thomas Edison is trying to build something impossible: a practical electric light bulb. He needs capital. The established money on Wall Street thinks he's a lunatic. You think he's the future. You finance Edison's experiments. You fund the Edison Electric Illuminating Company. In 1882, you become one of the first private citizens in New York to have your home wired for electricity. 400 bulbs in your Madison Avenue mansion, powered by a private generator in the cellar. The neighbors complain about the noise. You don't care. You are living in the 20th century while everyone around you is still burning gas. But Edison is a brilliant inventor and a terrible businessman. His company is bleeding money in a war of electrical standards, alternating current versus direct current. You see the end game before Edison does. In 1892, you merge Edison General Electric with the Thomson-Houston Company. Edison is furious. His name is removed from the new entity. It is now simply General Electric, one of the most valuable companies in the history of the world. Built on Edison's genius, financed and controlled by you. Then you go bigger. In 1901, you buy Carnegie Steel for $480 million. You fold it into a new entity, the United States Steel Corporation, capitalized at $1.4 billion, the first billion-dollar company in history. You have just created a corporation worth more than the annual budget of the United States government. Someone asks what the stock market will do. It will fluctuate, you say. You are not a builder. You are not an inventor. You are the man who sees what the builders and inventors cannot: scale, consolidation, the architecture of the future. And you buy it before anyone else understands what it's worth. Lesson 6. Build a system so powerful that it outlives you. In 1912, Congress convenes the Pujo Committee. Its mission, to investigate the money trust, the accusation that a small group of bankers, led by you, controls the entire American financial system. The committee's findings are damning. Your inner circle, Morgan Partners and their allies, holds 341 directorships in 112 corporations with a combined capitalization of $22 billion. In an economy of roughly $40 billion, you control more than half of corporate America, not through ownership, through influence, through board seats, financing relationships, and the simple, devastating fact that no major transaction in the United States happens without your approval. Untermeyer asks you the question that defines the hearing. Is not commercial credit based primarily on money or property? And you give the answer that defines your life. No, sir. The first thing is character. A man always has two reasons for what he does, a good one and the real one. Character is the good reason. Control is the real one. You leave Washington. Your health is failing. The hearings have taken something from you, not power but privacy. The curtain has been pulled back and the public has seen what was always there. One man at the center of everything. On March 31st, 1913, you die in Rome. You are 75. Your estate is valued at $68 million. Enormous, but a fraction of what people expected. Rockefeller, hearing the number, reportedly says, "And to think, he wasn't even a rich man." But wealth was never the point. The point was the system. Because 10 months after your death, Congress passes the Federal Reserve Act. The institution they create, a central bank to stabilize the financial system, to serve as lender of last resort, to do what you did in 1895 and 1907, is modeled on the role you played. They are not replacing your power. They are institutionalizing it. The 6 lessons of J.P. Morgan. 1. Control the money, control the game, be the gatekeeper, not the builder. 2. Morganization. Buy broken systems, fix them, own them. 3. When the government fails, step into the vacuum. Power flows to those who act. 4. Build trust as infrastructure. Your character is the collateral. 5. Own the future before it arrives. Finance the next era while others debate it. 6. Build a system so complete that when you die, they have to replace you with an institution. The Federal Reserve is Morgan's ghost. The financial system you walk through every day, the one that underwrites your mortgage, clears your credit card, funds the companies you work for. That system was designed by a man who believed he owed the public nothing. He might have been right. The public owed everything to him. Or maybe that's exactly the kind of power no single person should ever hold. See you next episode.